Почитувани граѓани, почитувани представници.
Distinguished citizens, distinguished representatives of the media, it is my pleasure to announce today's event, today's press conference, where we will sign the Memorandum of Cooperation between the government of the Republic of North Macedonia, represented by the Deputy Prime Minister in charge of Economy, Mr. Bytyqi, and the government of the United Kingdom, represented by Her Excellency the Ambassador, Her Excellency Madam Rachel Galloway. The memorandum refers to cooperation for establishing a central unit for monitoring the infrastructural investment projects, and we are also accompanied by Madam Michaela Tilatin, Head of the United Nations Office of Project Services in North Macedonia, the organization that will implement this project. In the very beginning, I would like to invite the Deputy Prime Minister and the Ambassador to sign the Memorandum of Cooperation. You may take the floor.
Нека е честито, нека е со среќа и да биде брза имплементацијата на проектот. Така го повикувам вице-премиерот Bytyqi прв да ни се обрати на пресконференцијата, да ни даде кус осврт за значењето на овој проект со кој што ќе се воспостави централна единица за следење на инфраструктурни проекти. Повелете, вице-премиер.
Благодарам. Почитувана амбасадорка на Обединетото кралство во Северна Македонија, Ваша Екселенцијо, госпоѓа Рейчел Галовеј, почитувана директорка на Канцеларијата за проектни услуги на Организацијата на Обединетите нации во Северна Македонија, госпоѓа Микела Телатин, почитувани граѓани, представници на медиумите. Навистина денеска ми е задоволство што придовме кон подпишување на меморандумот за соработка помеѓу Владата на Република Северна Македонија и амбасадата на Обединетото кралство. И денеска започнуваме со еден исклучителен важен проект, а тоа е воспоставување на централната единица за следење на инфраструктурните инвестициски проекти. Станува збор за проектот вредност од 600.000 британски фунти, средства кои се обезбедени од Владата на Обединетото кралство, а проектот ќе го спроведе Канцеларијата на проектните услуги на Обединетите нации, со кој ќе имаме блиска и континуирана соработка. Проектот за кој денес подпишавме меморандум, има за цел да придонесе во напорите на Владата да го зајакне спроведувањето на инфраструктурните проекти и инвестициите кои имаат силен импакт врз економскиот раст, создавањето на работните места, зачувување на животната средина и квалитетот на
and the quality of life. The project's activities will result in establishing the central unit for monitoring the infrastructural and investment projects that will reinforce the institutional capacity for management and monitoring the realization of the projects in large scope. Dear guests, our citizens, no matter where they live, deserve better conditions for life. Modern kindergartens and schools, secure roads, equipped and modern hospitals, quality utility infrastructure, healthy life, and clean environment. By good planning and successful implementation of capital infrastructural and investment projects, we are ensuring better quality of life in our country. The citizens ask for results. We deliver results, and we will continue doing that in future. I would like to express my gratitude to the United Kingdom. Once again, they proved they are friends of our country, of our citizens. Furthermore, I would like to thank UNOPS and the UN for the implementation of this project that should be completed in March next year. As of the first day of my mandate, I've been saying that we need a systemic solution for the challenges that we are facing. One of these challenges is monitoring and realization of the capital projects. This unit for monitoring is exactly such practical and pragmatic solution. This is just one part of the whole mosaic. If we look at the picture in broader context, we will see the whole system, a system that we are working on. This system is composed of several main elements. One part of it is the monitoring of the infrastructural and investment projects that are managed by this central unit that we are discussing today. The second part is the management system for state aid that we have already announced and that we are working together with the World Bank. This should be a contact point that will incorporate the whole state aid implemented through 11 national institutions. Of course, the same system will be digitalized, and the end result should measure the efficiency and the impact of the awarded state aid. The objective that we are striving for, and which I believe is worth to be accomplished, is in fact incorporating the data of these two systems provided by the Central Unit for Monitoring. This unit will provide real-time transparent data regarding the efficiency and the effectiveness for implementation of the economic policies in our country. This way, we'll be able to track each penny of the citizens' taxes, all in order to use them for the citizens' benefit, to put it back as good infrastructure in the form of kindergartens, schools, bicycle lanes, and new jobs. Thank you. Now the Deputy Prime Minister will address into Albanian, and I will repeat the several few paragraphs which were not heard before. Distinguished Ambassador of the United Kingdom to North Macedonia, Your Excellency Madam Rachel Galloway, Distinguished Director of the United Nations Office of Project Services in North Macedonia, Madam Michaela Tilatin, distinguished citizens, media representatives. It is my distinct pleasure that today, with today's signing of the Memorandum of Cooperation between the Government of the Republic of North Macedonia and the British Embassy in Skopje, we are starting a quite important project establishing a central unit for infrastructure coordination. We are speaking of a project in the value of 600,000 British pounds. These funds are secured by the Government of the United Kingdom, and the project will be implemented by UNOPS, with whom we have quite close and continuous cooperation. The project for which we are signing this memorandum today is aimed at contributing to the government's efforts to reinforce the impact that the public infrastructure investments have over the economic growth, creating jobs, safeguarding the environment, and quality of life. The project's activities will result in establishing the central unit for monitoring the infrastructural and investment projects that will reinforce the institutional capacity for management and monitoring the realization of the projects in large scope. I think that you heard the rest of the speech, so I will be turning off now.
Kopshte dhe shkolla moderne, rrugë të sigurta, spitalet e pajisura dhe moderne, infrastrukturë komunale cilësore, jetë të shëndetshme dhe një mjedis të pastër, me një planifikim të mirë dhe zbatim të suksesshëm të infrastrukturës kapitale dhe projekteve të investimeve. Ne sigurojmë përmirësimin e cilësisë së jetës në vendin tonë. Qytetarët kërkojnë rezultate. Ne i dorëzojmë ato rezultate dhe kështu do të vazhdojmë. I falenderojmë Mbretërisë së Bashkuar, të cilët janë dëshmuar se janë miq të vendit tonë, të qytetarëve tanë. I falenderojmë edhe UNOPS-it dhe Organizatës së Kombeve të Bashkuara për zbatimin e këtij projekti, i cili pritet të përfundojë në mars të vitit të ardhshëm. Që nga dita e parë e mandatit tim, them se kemi nevojë për një zgjidhje sistematike për sfidat me të cilët përballemi. Një sfidë e tillë është edhe ndjekja dhe realizimi i projekteve kapitale, dhe kjo njësi për ndjekjen e tyre është pikërisht një zgjidhje e tillë praktike dhe pragmatike. Dhe ky është vetëm një segment. Nëse e zmadhojmë imazhin për një moment në mënyrë që të shohim kontekstin më të gjerë, do të shohim që i gjithë sistemit në të cilin po punojmë përbëhet nga dy segmente kryesore. Një pjesë është ndjekja e projekteve të infrastrukturës investimeve që do të menaxhohen përmes kësaj njësie qendrore. Pjesa e dytë është sistemi I menaxhimit të ndihmës shtetërore, të cilën tashmë kemi paralajmëruar dhe po punojmë me Bankën Botërore dhe duhet të jetë një pikë kontakti që do të përfshijë të gjithë ndihmën shtetërore që zbatohet përmes 11 institucioneve shtetërore. Sigurisht, I njëjti sistem do të digitalizohet dhe si produkt përfundimtar duhet të masë efikasitetin dhe ndikimin e ndihmës shtetërore të dhënë. Në këtë mënyrë, ne do të jemi në gjendje të ndjekim që çdo denar I qytetarëve ka shkuar në vendin e duhur dhe cili është efekti që ka arritur në mënyrë që ta kthej po ashtu tek qytetarët, siç janë infrastruktura e mirë, kopshtet, shkollat, shtigjet e biçikletave, vendet e lira të punës. Ju faleminderit.
Ви благодарам и вам.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. Now I would like to invite the Ambassador of the British Embassy, Her Excellency Madam Galloway, to say a few words on the memorandum.
Good morning. Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. Thank you, Director. Every economy in the world depends on reliable infrastructure that connects supply chains and efficiently moves goods and services in the country and across borders. Infrastructure enables business. It connects households to employment, healthcare, and education, and it also creates opportunities for struggling communities and protects the nation from an increasingly unpredictable natural environment. From private investment in telecommunication systems to energy projects and pipelines, public spending on transportation, water, waste and sewage, buildings and parks, infrastructure is the backbone of a healthy economy. We've all seen the decimating effects of the pandemic on the economy, and many governments, including mine in the UK, have been looking at infrastructure spending not only as a way to kickstart growth, but also to stimulate job creation. Infrastructure investment has been a proven method of successfully stimulating growth in the aftermath of an economic shock. And this is why, for example, the IMF has called for governments to boost infrastructure spending to help drive economic recovery from the pandemic. This is also an opportunity to change infrastructure. Governments and private investors can direct funding towards more sustainable and green infrastructure, which will boost the resilience of infrastructure to climate change threats. The IMF has also highlighted that public investment in such infrastructure projects could both address climate change and pay back more than 2-to-1 in economic growth within 2 years. This is what we're hoping to see in North Macedonia. The UK has provided support to develop the green scenario within the National Energy Strategy, and future infrastructure planning should consider the use of green and alternative energy. Every infrastructure project should have a full environmental impact assessment. Communities and beneficiaries should have an opportunity to provide input in the planning of the infrastructure and to be able to be closely involved and informed about developments in infrastructure planning and implementation. The project we're starting today will facilitate and coordinate the planning and the implementation of large infrastructure projects. On our side, in the United Kingdom, we've recently published our own national infrastructure strategy, which outlines the plans to transform UK infrastructure to be more resilient to climate change and to help us achieve net zero emissions by 2050. We're also supporting North Macedonia to develop its own national development strategy for the next 20 years. And I hope that these two initiatives will work together, planning infrastructure that will serve the communities of the future, considering the possibilities of today. We have an opportunity now to mainstream climate change-resistant infrastructure, to use green and alternative energy, to involve citizens and the business sector, to consider environmental impacts and pave the way towards better and cleaner infrastructure. Vi благодарам.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Това беше обръщението на амбасадорката на Обединеното кралство.
This was Madam Galloway, and now I would like to invite the head of the Office for Infrastructural Services, Madam Telatini, who will implement this project. Please.
Excellencies, I am delighted to be here today for the signing of this cooperation agreement that will strengthen the capacity of the government of North Macedonia in infrastructure management. As UNOPS, the United Nations agency with a mandate on infrastructure, in procurement, in project management, we are very pleased to offer our specialized expertise on infrastructure, knowing that infrastructure is not just construction. Infrastructure means enabling access, means environment. And for us, we regard infrastructure as the backbone and the foundation of a functioning society. There was a research done by UNOPS together with the Oxford University that says that 92% of all targets across the Sustainable Development Goals can be influenced by infrastructure. So that's really the scope of the infrastructure across sector. This is why I'm very pleased about the implementation of this project, which will be done together in close collaboration and guidance with the government of North Macedonia, the Deputy Prime Minister's Office, and with all the support and guidance from the United Kingdom. The project will be will aim at establishing and also to enhance the capacity of an infrastructure coordination unit. We also strengthen the monitoring of a large-scale infrastructure project and also analyze the regulatory framework. So I would like to thank for the trust and the guidance and support the government of North Macedonia, the United Kingdom, and I really look forward for the implementation of this project and also to see the tangible results that this project can bring to the citizens of North Macedonia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Telatin.
Thank you, Madam Telatin. This was the head of the Office of UNOPS, who will collaborate together with the government of North Macedonia and the British Embassy. And now we will hear questions from the media. We have a question from Cito Television. Natasha Hadžispirkovska. Thank you, Bojan, for the Deputy Prime Minister Bytyqi, not on the topic. Regarding the tomorrow's economic forum organized by the government, another forum will be held today, and the questions related to the businessmen are old 20 to 30 years. Bad infrastructure in the mini Schengen. Tomorrow's forum will contribute to improving the conditions? The Deputy Prime Minister will answer the question. The borders are set very easily, but crossing the borders is quite difficult process. We witnessed this. We needed a year to set the borders and more than 30 years to remove the barriers for free trade. Of course, the Berlin process and the initiative for joint regional market, we proved that as a country we are one of the key stakeholders in enabling this joint regional market, common regional market. Tomorrow, several agreements and memorandums will be signed. Practical implementation for mobility of people and goods and services will be enabled. We will sign the agreement for joint management with crisis and fast reactions in period of crisis. And I hope that we'll have successful beginning of implementation of several activities which are within the Berlin process, and this will help creating the common regional market, because only through cooperation we will achieve competitiveness of the region. Thank you. Nata, any other questions? No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. Thank you, everyone, for your presence. Now we are ending today's event and today's press conference. Let me remind you that the Deputy Prime Minister Bytyqi and the Ambassador of the United Kingdom signed a memorandum of cooperation for establishing a central unit for monitoring the infrastructural projects in North Macedonia. Thank you for your attention and see you on another occasion.